Have you ever wondered how your life plays out in a grander scheme of things? Have you asked yourself, what can I do to make my life more fulfilling? Well, you're in the right place. In this episode, we will be talking about self-realization, what it is, the stages, why it's an important part of your self-growth and purpose here on earth, the benefits, and how to cultivate it in your daily life. Self-realization is the meat of the bones of these types of questions when you are questioning your life or wanting to have a deeper understanding of yourself, your habits, your insecurities, or simply how to change your life's perspective. I am your host, Carolina, and you're listening to Citadel Clarity, where we educate, heal, and inspire ourselves. We dig deep into concepts about the self, perception, and emotions. We shed light on the old thinking patterns that are not working for us anymore and illuminate new positive thinking patterns to prevail over self-limiting beliefs, heal our hearts, and elevate self-esteem so we can tap into our higher purpose, who we truly are. I am so glad you're here. Let's get to it. What is self-realization? Self-realization is when one gradually accumulates knowledge, clarity, and constant awareness of themselves, of their behaviors, emotions, bodily reactions, and triggers. It is when we learn about ourselves, such as our thoughts, beliefs, habits, and patterns that have taken charge of our perspective. Depending on who you are, it will gradually or forcefully let us know when to change certain aspects of our lives that are not serving us anymore, such as the way we're leading our physical and mental health, profession, relationships, routines, spirituality, and our spirit. Self-realization is the most important factor for growth, for expansion in this human experience. It is literally the self realizing itself. I found this definition, and I think it's perfect for this episode. Quote, self-realization means peeling away fabricated layers of one's own personality to understand the true self and hence the true nature of reality. End quote. And this definition reminds me of Shrek, when he is talking to Donkey and explaining to him what an ogre is, and he's having a hard time explaining this, so he uses the analogy of an onion and how onions have layers. And that's exactly what this is all about. We have all these layers, all these filters, and the true self is in the core. It's in the middle of the onion, and we just have to peel away all those quote-unquote fabricated layers. And because of all those layers, some of the things that we deem complex or difficult to understand are literally only clouded by our perception. Most of the time, it's because we have either never engaged in those thoughts or circumstances, or there is a belief that is blocking you from understanding it. When you haven't done something before, haven't engaged in something before, you question it because you fully don't understand it. And sometimes we as humans, we refuse to understand it because it requires us to walk in a different direction we are not used to, or directions that are deemed unpopular or taboo. And I believe these moments of self-realization are pushes or pokes from your inner being, your spirit, your soul, trying to redirect you to your rightful path. It will always be the path that is unknown to you. And this requires us to learn how to surrender, how to trust yourself, and have faith in this unknown path, and have faith that it will just work out. You see, the only thing that will get in the way of that is your ego, because the ego doesn't like the unknown. It likes to protect you, and the best way to do that is to keep you from doing things that are risky or unknown. And that is why we need trust, we need faith. So the intuition, that spirit of yours, will shine through the smoky mirrors, those filters, those layers, and clear it out of the way for you to make sense of something that at the end of the day is entirely simple to understand, but because of all the smokiness, the distractions, the unhealthy lifestyles of burnout and consumption of media, food, and toxic relationships, it makes it difficult to be in this clear mind frame. So the whole point of having these moments of awareness, of realization, is to reflect and to change in the direction of your intuition. So my dears, there are stages to self-realization. In my experience, self-realization or awareness, it's not linear, and it doesn't happen when you want it to, unless you are surrendering and letting things flow, trusting without needing to control, and it's just when you're not in resistance. Letting go and letting things flow was and still is part of my journey, and with that, I find myself progressing in regards to being enlightened to aspects of myself that I did not realize, or that was clouded by my own judgment, my own self-made control, my ego. So I wanted to explain self-realization in a way that was not too vague, yet not too specific because of timing. And I found this amazing article titled The 10 Stages of Self-Realization, written by Chandrani Mukherjee from Mindful. Please go check it out. It's really great. And I just thought it was perfect because it pinpointed all the points I experienced in my journey in finding myself, my empowerment, and self-love. All right, well, here we go. The first stage is self-inquiry. When one begins to ask reflective questions about oneself. These questions need truthful answers for a true understanding of oneself. So be honest with yourself because you owe it to yourself. And then this ties into self-discovery, which is just discovering the inner truths about yourself that have been hidden in your subconscious. And these can be truths about your strengths and your weaknesses. And from this self-discovery, you analyze them and accept these truths. And this wakes up your subconscious, which allows you to connect with your intuition. And then we have self-awareness. Self-awareness is being aware of your thoughts, instincts, and intuition, and it is being aware of the self. We have the next one, self-acceptance, accepting yourself as you are in this moment, in the now, this part of your life, not as who you want to be or who you were, but who you are right now. And doing this with a positive mindset and commitment. So this is being content with where you're at, living a life of your choice, not influenced by other people's expectations or validations. The next stage is self-empowerment. Self-empowerment is knowing and truly believing in your core that you are enough and reminding yourself of that. It is living in the present because there is no need to live in the past or the future. And after all, living life is all about being present. This self-empowerment is also a reflection of the next stage, which is the self-love you embody. Self-love is being able to give yourself compassion and allow yourself to feel joy, love, bliss, fun, and laughter because you deserve it. It is for everyone. You deserve love from yourself. Love and accept you for who you are, not what you can be, just who you are. Self-love also means being able to forgive yourself for mistakes and forgive yourself for being too hard on yourself, giving yourself grace. So be easy on yourself. It is also taking care of yourself and your needs. That's that self-care we keep hearing everywhere. And then that translates into your self-respect, the next stage, which is believing you are worthy and have value, and you deserve to have your needs met, and reminding yourself that you can provide yourself those needs, those boundaries, that love, and that care. Also, you consider your strengths and work on your weaknesses to make yourself stronger. You can value yourself, allowing you to decipher what is best for you. The next stage is self-transformation. Self-transformation is growing the range, the scope of your consciousness, awareness, and understanding, instead of only seeing what's in front of you. It is the part where you let go of emotional patterns, habits, and belief systems that are hindering your growth and love for your life. This is allowing your authentic self to be free and to choose your view on your life. The second to last stage is self-mastery. This is when you've controlled and mastered your false ego, and you can function ahead of the limiting beliefs that obstruct self-empowerment and self-growth. You have found the balance in your life, and you have calm and wise perspective. Now, the last stage is self-realization, and this is when the false ego beliefs no longer obscure thoughts and feelings. You have clarity in who you are. There are no more labels to determine who you are. You are just you, only by simply being you. This is not a linear process. These come when it's meant to be in your life. And I arrange these steps in these particular order based on similarity and congruence with one another. We are in the third part of the episode, and this part is called, Why is this important? What are the benefits? So having self-realization gives us personal growth. This growth mindset allows people to view challenges as opportunities for learning instead of an obstacle. I think of it like this. When you become self-aware about a certain aspect of your life, you now have acquired a useful tool. And that tool is called knowledge. We can use that newfound clear knowledge to maneuver through our lives with more ease and less friction because we now know better. Having self-realizations can have positive impacts on how we communicate, make decisions, and our bonds with other people. And it has been proven to improve one's daily life. It allows us to truly understand what's worth it, what serves us, and what does not serve us. We have more self-respect, empowerment, love, and confidence within ourselves, and we remind ourselves of our core values to remind us what's truly important. So focusing on your growth through self-realization can lead to a range of positive changes, such as better communication. This is being able to handle conflict better, build empathy, which is understanding, which is having a greater understanding and compassion for others, trust in yourself, and trust in those you deem worthy of trust, problem solving, and creating positive relationships, and so important, reducing misunderstandings. The next one is improved decision-making skills. When we make better decisions, it helps gain confidence, creates a better life balance, better relationships, more feelings of satisfaction and accomplishment, which is always good to feel. Our focus is on what's important, what truly matters to us, and feeling positive emotions from your decisions, which I honestly love. I love to feel it. The next positive change that you will experience is improved relationships. This increases self-esteem, greater empathy. We'll have more trusting and cooperating relationships with others. You'll have a greater sense of purpose and less stress. And finally, higher levels of joy. This is just contributing to better health when focused on your diet, sleep, and exercise, being more productive. It also helps combat diseases, aches, and pains, and it increases resilience and gratitude. So how do you cultivate self-realization in your daily life? So I have my top 4 that I'm going to share, and how I started cultivating self-realization and how I continue cultivating it in my life till this day. So number 1 is visualization. Visualization, it's a technique to create a strong mental image for a future event. And this is thinking positively about something that is coming up for you or something that you desire. So instead of thinking of everything that might go wrong, you think of all the things that can go right. It's that good emotional feeling you want to have attached to your goals, dreams, and desires. So set goals and be dedicated to accomplishing these goals with a positive mindset. Number 2, ask self-reflective questions. Doing the self-work to be the best version of you. It is getting to know yourself honestly. It's important because it allows you to refocus your mind on what you truly value in your life, allowing yourself to grow. Ask yourself questions that pinpoint your values or goals in life, which can help you in decision-making skills, and it gets you back to your foundations. And take action on it, because when life becomes challenging, you have those foundational core values to remind you what matters to you. And this is about taking back your power. And you can Google self-reflective questions and you'll find plenty, and be specific of which ones you want to search for too. There are core values, healthy boundaries, forgiveness, self-love, self-growth, self-confidence. Pick whichever one suits you. Number 3, pay attention to your thought patterns. This is specifically about getting out of your comfort zone. It will be uncomfortable, but worth it. It is freeing your ties and defeating those thoughts that tell you you can't, and digging out those deep-rooted false beliefs that have been planted for many years. So think, what are those thoughts that keep popping up that make me feel uncomfortable? That's probably something you need to face and release. You see, our bodies and subconscious are like storage spaces. And when things are too heavy and not serving you well, it will keep popping up until you accept it. Point towards the truth and release it. If you also have negative self-talk or negative perspective of life, tune those lower thoughts out. So we are like antennas receiving signals from everything, like a radio. There will always be some sort of negative vibration around you that will tune into you. The point is to change the station, to tune it out, and to tune into more positive signals. So your brain also is like a recording machine. So whatever you're consistently telling it, it will record it. If you are telling yourself not nice things constantly, you're providing your brain with that negative narrative or negative frequency, and your brain is going to believe it, and that becomes your perspective. However, the reality is that most of the stuff we tell ourselves is not true. It is just stories we have told ourselves to protect ourselves. Now, what we need to consciously do is rewire our brain from constantly going to the negative and switch it to a positive. For instance, be kind to yourself. Talk to yourself in a nurturing manner. Hype yourself up. Show yourself compassion. Show yourself grace. The same way you give other people pep talks, give yourself pep talks. Also, surround yourself with positivity. Start watching positive TV shows, movies, social media content, or reduce the intake of these things. Listen to positive music and continuously try to flood your daily life with positivity, because the more you flood yourself with positivity, that is what you're tuning into. That is the frequency you will be getting then. So here's an example. If we have a cup of dirty water, the water represents us, and the dirt in the water represents the muddled negative thoughts. Imagine you begin to pour clean water from a large pitcher into the cup. The clean water in this pitcher represents the positive thoughts. Now you keep pouring and pouring, and the glass begins to overflow and spill out of the cup. Eventually, all the dirty water will be pushed out by the clean water. It will spill out, and there will only be clean water in the cup. The point is to pour or focus your attention on positivity in your life, and see how doing this will clear away those negative thoughts you have. Next, when you catch yourself in a negative cycle and it is hard to get out of it, start to clap it out, dance it out, sing it out, laugh it out. And when you do it, it will tell your brain that instead of feeling that habitual negative feeling, you are going to instead release it energetically through positive movements. This is called somatic movements. And when we don't know how to release these denser emotional feelings, you just dance, shake, wobble, like your body needs a release. Over time I'm laughing because I just imagine myself doing this in the living room, which I did the other day. And honestly, I felt great after that. Over time, with consistency, your thoughts will be more tuned into the positive. This takes time though. Everyone is different, so give yourself grace and compassion and patience. Also, this is not disregarding or ignoring those emotions. It is practicing not allowing those feelings to take over. Remember, we are meant to feel. We just have to surrender to what we are feeling, feel it, accept it for what it is, and then find a way to release it back into the universe. And I spoke more on this part because I believe it is important to recognize and remind ourselves that our minds are powerful. However, we need to remind ourselves that we are in control of our minds, emotions, and behaviors, and they are not in control of us. All right, I know that was a long one, but the fourth thing I do to implement self-realization in my daily life is practice mindfulness. And this is finding time for you, feeding your mind and spirit. This allows you to focus on the present moment and be out of your mind. So a few practices of mindfulness are meditation, which is practicing silencing your thoughts and focusing on your internal now, the present. And if you are interested in doing meditations, I have uploaded a grounding meditation to keep you present and rooted in the now, and more will be coming soon. I also have more resources on meditations on citadelclarity.com. If you are interested, you can go take a look. The next one is breathing exercises, and this is beneficial to relax your body and mind and reduce stress. It also gives your blood cells and brain oxygen, which gives you a boost of energy and clarity. Next one is walking. Form of exercise, again, gets that oxygen into your body. It also gets you out into nature, which feels good. It allows you to feel present, and it's very grounding. Next one is journaling. It's writing down your thoughts and feelings to understand them better, release them, not let them harbor inside. It also helps you gain control of your emotions and improves your mental health. So let it flow and be honest. I usually write 5 positive things that happen throughout my day and 5 things that I am grateful for and what I'm planning for the next day, just to get it all out. Next, we have grounding, which is physically meeting the earth with your bare feet, and it really gets you feeling centered. It has been proven to have anti-inflammatory benefits, and it allows you to get connected to Mother Nature, and you feel good at the end of it. Finally, the last one is a body scan, and it's focusing on each body part and how it's doing. It is mainly to relax the tension from your body. So my friends, we are at the end of our episode, and to wrap up, here are a few points to retain about self-realization. 1 is being constantly self-aware is key to growing. 2, some of the things we deem complex or difficult to understand are only clouded by our perception, those layers, those filters. 3, there are stages to self-realization, and to summarize, they are all about self-discovery, love, empowerment, and transformation within the self. Go back into the episode to listen to them if you need to write them down, or visit that article from Mindful, the 10 stages of self-realization. And 4, we can cultivate it in our daily lives by visualizing the life we desire, asking reflective questions, paying attention to our thoughts, and practicing mindfulness. We will end with a quote from Sadhguru. Quote, "The more you know about something, the better you can handle it. The more you know about yourself, the better you can handle yourself. This is called self-realization." End quote. that is the end of our episode. I want to thank you for listening today from the bottom of my heart. I am so grateful that you took your time to listen, learn, and love. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, leave a rating and review. To stay up to date with Citadel Clarity, you can follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Citadel Clarity, or visit our website, citadelclarity.com. See you in the next episode. Peace and love.